Welcome! Today, we're going on a journey high into the Himalayas, to a place of myth and secret waters, to find the true and surprisingly complex origins of India's most holy river. So if I asked you to picture the source of the river Ganga, what comes to mind? Probably a single powerful stream bursting from a glacier, right? Well, the truth is actually so much more beautiful and mystical. The Ganga isn't born in just one place. She's forged from the union of 5 distinct holy rivers. To really understand this story, there's one word you absolutely need to know: Prayag. It's a Sanskrit word for a sacred confluence, a holy spot where rivers meet. But these are way more than just geographical points. In Hindu belief, they're like supercharged spiritual centers, places where divine energies literally converge. And the Ganga? Well, she is brought to life by 5 of these sacred confluences, together known as the Panch Prayag. So come with us. Let's take a virtual pilgrimage up into the mountains and see just how these ancient streams, each with its own incredible story, come together to create one of the world's mightiest rivers. Before we get to the meeting points, you've got to meet the 2 mother streams. Think of them as the 2 parents of the Ganga. On one side, you have the Bhagirathi. She's born from the Ganga Glacier, and she runs incredibly fast and is just crystal clear. Then you have the Alaknanda, who comes from the Saropant Glacier. She's powerful, carrying a milky, grayish color from all the glacial silt. You'll want to remember these 2, because when they finally meet, that's the grand finale. Now, you might think we'd start at the beginning, but we're actually going to start our journey at the end. Or, depending on how you look at it, the true beginning. Let's start with the most famous of all the confluences, Devprayag, the Prayag of the gods. This is it. This is the moment where it all comes together. You can see the clear waters of the Bhagirathi meeting the powerful silty current of the Alaknanda. And from this point forward, and only from this point, is the river finally called the Ganga. The spiritual energy here is just immense. Legend says this is where Lord Rama himself came to perform penance after the great war with Ravana. And watching over it all is the ancient Raghunathji temple, a timeless monument to that very story. Okay, now let's travel upstream. We're going to follow the Alaknanda River, where we'll discover 2 more confluences that are woven deep into the fabric of another great epic, the Mahabharata. And the stories here are just incredible. At Rudraprayag, where the Alaknanda meets the Mandakini, it's believed the great sage Narada came to master music, and his devotion was so pure that Lord Shiva appeared in his fierce Rudra form to become his teacher. Then, further up at Karnaprayag, another story unfolds. This is where the great, tragic hero of the Mahabharata, Karna, meditated so intensely that his father, the sun god Surya, granted him his famous invincible armor, a gift that would change the course of a war. But the story of Karnaprayag has this really powerful final chapter. After Karna's tragic death on the battlefield, it's believed that Lord Krishna himself brought his body to this very spot to perform his final rites. It was an act that recognized Karna's complex duty, his dharma, and granted him ultimate liberation, or moksha. As we continue our climb, we're reaching the last 2 prayags. Now, these are the highest of the 5, and their stories come from the ancient Puranas, tales filled with devotion and incredible divine blessings. At Nandaprayag, it's said that a king named Nanda performed a great yajna, a secret fire ritual, praying with all his heart for a son who would have the divine qualities of Lord Vishnu. And finally, at Vishnuprayag, the highest and first confluence on our upstream journey, we meet our friend the sage Narada again. It was right here, where the Alaknanda meets the roaring Dali Ganga, that his penance was so deep and powerful that Lord Vishnu himself appeared before him, blessing him with the status of a divine sage. You know, the spiritual power of these 5 places is just considered to be beyond measure. An ancient text, the Skanda Purana, puts it so perfectly. It says that the simple act of just remembering these holy confluences is enough to destroy all sins and purify the soul. So you see, these aren't just 5 separate holy places scattered in the mountains. Not at all. They form a single, sacred journey, a pilgrimage route that follows the river upstream, a physical path that perfectly mirrors a spiritual climb towards liberation. And this is a real journey that people take. The pilgrimage actually follows this spiritual ascent. You start at Devprayag, the lowest point, and travel up National Highway 7. With every stop, you're not just gaining altitude, you're taking a step physically and spiritually higher and higher into the Himalayas, getting ever closer to the divine source. So, why does all of this matter so much? Well, for millions of people, taking a holy dip, a snan, in these waters is a chance to wash away a lifetime of karmic impurities. They're also vital places to perform rites for one's ancestors. And these places aren't isolated. They're the very headwaters of a sacred cosmic river system that flows all the way down to Prayagraj, the home of the massive Kumbh Mela. And get this, there's even a mystical belief that the essence of the lost sacred river, the Saraswati, still flows, hidden within the Alaknanda, connecting everything. And all of this leads to a pretty profound spiritual equation. According to the ancient text, Prayaga Matamya, the spiritual merit, the punya, that you gain from bathing in all 5 of these prayags, in the right order, is exactly equal to the merit you'd get from a single bath at the ultimate confluence downstream, the Triveni Sangam. That's an incredibly powerful statement about the unity of this sacred path. And that really brings us to our final thought. The Ganga isn't born from just one simple source. Her creation requires the merging of 5 powerful, unique rivers, each with its own character, its own color, its own mythology. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. If this sacred river can teach us anything, maybe it's that true, divine power and purpose aren't found in isolation, but are truly born in confluence. If you enjoyed this journey into our sacred heritage, please show your support by liking this video, sharing it with others, and leaving a comment with your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to the Sacred Vantage Bliss channel for more explorations into these